Hi, I'm Dave Chilton. You may not know me at all. You may know me as the author of The Wealthy Barber and The Wealthy Barber Returns. Though if you know me, it's most likely as a dragon on Dragon's Den. I'm sure you're familiar with the show where venture capitalists are pitched by businesses looking for financing, huge hit in many countries, and of course known as Shark Tank in the US. Interestingly, Shark Tank started a year after Dragon's Den had in Canada and borrowed two of our stars, Robert Herjavec and my buddy Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary. The business backgrounds of the Dragons and Sharks are pretty much what you would expect. Their initial fortunes came from traditionally lucrative and dynamic businesses: internet security, one of the first online dating sites, wealth management, clothing lines, real estate, oil patch financing, and of course Mark Cuban's home run with the sale of Broadcast.com. My success, not the billions of Mark Cuban admittedly, on the other hand came from the most unusual of ways, through an industry not known for producing profits, much less fortunes: self-publishing. Working from a tiny office with a team of only two most of the time, the amazing Marine is over there, with only three more at peak employment, we've sold well over 5 million books. That total doesn't even count ebooks. That's just physical books. We brought in tens and tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars in revenue from book sales, high margin revenue. Plus, we spun the book successes into calendars, 4 million sold, greeting cards with Hallmark, TV shows on PBS and Food Network, heck, even frozen food, you name it. The whole experience has been a little hard to believe because, frankly, I'm not that sharp, as my son, who's producing these videos, will happily testify. My parents are still shocked to this day. So, how did we do it? How do we continue to do it? What can you learn from our efforts, including our many failures and dumb ideas, to help you sell more nonfiction books or children's books or cookbooks? Well, that's what this series of videos is all about, answering those questions. Though I really do want to help writers and publishers, I will concede there's also a very selfish reason that I'm doing these videos. I don't want to give any more one-on-one advice to writers and publishers. It's truly nuts here. We get 1,000+ calls a year, no exaggerating, from writers, some starting out, many famous, to publishers, from indies to 100-year-old firms, looking to learn how to sell more nonfiction books. We've honestly returned every call, every single call, and offered tips and ideas, always for free. But I just can't do it anymore. It's overwhelming us. I'm nice, but come on. So I thought these videos would be the most efficient way of getting our very unique approach to book marketing out there. It's that simple. We have nothing more to sell you, no more videos, no books, no courses, no consulting. We may be the only business ever who truly never wants to hear from its clients again. In fact, the phone number at the end of this video isn't really mine. It's some poor woman's from Reno, Nevada. I'm not making a penny off this initiative. Not a penny. Sad. But I'm not doing this for the money. My son, whose company's fronting the production and marketing costs, hey, he has to charge a little something. He's not as generous as his father. His mother's influence, no doubt. As you know, there's already a lot of great info out there on how to sell more copies of your book, physical or ebook. Giants in the book marketing industry like John Kremer, Brian Judd, Judith Applebaum are still going strong and doing a fantastic job. And now beyond Judith and the gang, a new generation of experts and consultants has many stars. Peter Bowerman, really enjoyed his fine book, The Well-Fed Self-Publisher. Rob Eager at Wildfire Marketing, love his stuff. Petty Sansevieri, Joel Friedlander, Betty Kelly Sargent, the great Jane Friedman, Joanna Penn, Steve Harrison and his team. These are top drawer marketing minds, no question. And there are lots of others with excellent books and services that we'll talk about later. Resources you should use, resources you almost must use. So, given all those amazing people out there with established track records of offering excellent advice, why this series? What's new? What's different? Honestly, an incredible amount. Yes, I'll probably repeat a few of the things that they have said, but even then, it'll be with a new spin, an angle others may have overlooked. However, most of our approaches really are unique. Essentially, there are 5 things we focus on to create our success. Number 1, we mix conventional marketing ideas together in unusual ways. It's the combinations that often create the magic. Number 2, we have a strange number of very creative approaches to executing ideas. Telling people they need to generate a lot of media is one thing. Giving them examples of weird and wonderful ways to do it is quite another. Subtle deviations from the normal approaches often lead to dramatically better results. The abilities to stand out and to persuade are an area of great focus. Number 3, we steal. We're constantly taking ideas from other industries and applying them to publishing. This has been crucial to our success. Last year, for example, we borrowed from the Netflix model to sell over 1 million ebooks in one deal. Crazy. My son came up with that idea, and he's only 7. Kidding, he's 26. Number 4, we find partners, companies that can help us to reach our target audience. We're honestly a humble group, well, a group of 2, but we'll make an exception here and toot our own horn on what we've been able to do in this area. We put together joint ventures with Coke. Our books have been on Diet Coke cases, Nabisco, Microsoft, NCR, Pizza Hut, Wells Fargo, Motorola, etc. And on a super positive note, it's so much easier to find partners nowadays with all the new social media platforms and content marketing out there. Just the things that are possible with e-excerpts alone keep me up at night with excitement. Corporate sales and partnerships are an incredibly fun and lucrative part of the business, yet few writers and publishers even explore them. They often think these deals are impossible to pull off. Couldn't be further from the truth. We've guided skeptical authors who have called our office for help to major deals with companies from American Express to IBM. Number 5 and last, we play the numbers game. We try a ton of things, and I mean a ton. Sure, many fail, but even those efforts often introduce us to a future ally or teach us a valuable lesson. If you're looking for 10 surefire marketing ideas that work each and every time, hey, so are we. If you find them, send them on. Sounds funny, but failure is a big part of book marketing success. One other important note about this video's value, we think a lot of the conventional wisdom around putting together a book, from seemingly little things like the dedication and acknowledgement pages to clearly big things like the cover design and approach to editing, is often far from wise. I think you're really going to like our thoughts on that subject. To that end, it's interesting. I've had the pleasure of speaking to the Simon & Schuster executives and marketing team. Reader's Digest Books division has flown me into New York. Recently, I gave a speech about our model to the Random House elite, and surprisingly, they all love the section where I criticize how they put their nonfiction books together. That's weird. If nothing else, I guarantee you that part will make you challenge some long-held assumptions. Going back to the point about mixing creative marketing ideas and our unusual methods of executing them, a few years ago I was on a panel in Chicago at a publishing symposium around book marketing. Unbeknownst to me, one of the top executives at the world's second biggest publisher was in attendance. A month later, he called saying he was going to be in Toronto and wanted to stop by our office and see the war room approach to marketing I had described in Chicago. It's hard to convey his reaction to that visit. Instead of staying the intended 5 minutes, he stayed 2 hours. He took 100 pictures and asked even more questions. I walked him through our rather unusual methods, offering many examples. We had all of our walls in an office that was about 18 by 15, no windows, covered in index cards. There had to be at least 1,000 of them, some for media leads, a different section for special sales leads, and another for distribution leads, etc. This sounds a bit corny, but to this day, we are still proud of his reaction. He said, "I've been in the publishing business for 30 years, covering all roles, and I've never seen anything like this. You have more marketing initiatives underway for your one book than we do for our entire fall line." Now, if you're hearing that and thinking, I don't have time for that, or did you have to create a well-known brand before you could pursue all those opportunities, or does your book have to have mass appeal? Fear not. Remember, we really do work out of a tiny little office. Again, there have only been 2 of us for many of the years that we've been in business, and I've seldom here. Big or small, full-time or part-time, mass appeal physical book or niche ebook, these ideas will help greatly. Will they sell you tens of thousands or millions of books? I hope so, but I have no idea. I haven't seen your book. But I do know that if you use them, they will sell you a lot of copies you wouldn't have otherwise sold, and you'll enjoy the process immensely. We've seen it over and over and over again with people we've helped, including many part-timers with basement projects. This sounds a bit Tony Robbins-like, a great book marketer, but I really think we bring a different attitude, a completely different mindset to nonfiction book marketing. In fact, that's why we chose to make a video over a book. I love books, obviously, but the video approach captures, we hope, our enthusiasm, our energy, that mindset more effectively. Really, this might sound a bit dramatic, but we're confident our passion for book marketing in general, and for our unusual methods specifically, will be contagious. Selling books is hard. It takes a bias to action. It takes relentlessness. There will be a lot of rejection. Grit and determination, these are vital qualities. But the good news is that this is fun. It really is. All the moving parts start acting as gears and helping to propel things forward. Successes, even small successes, beget more successes. The compounding effect kicks in. Plus, there's a huge sense of accomplishment putting this puzzle together. And hey, growing revenues is cool too, really cool. Look, because of Dragon's Den, I'm involved in 30 plus businesses, now in all kinds of industries, but nothing is or has been more fun and rewarding than getting a good book, a book you truly believe in, into the hands of the people who could benefit from reading it. Nothing. That's what these videos are all about.